Without objection.
So, Madam President, in my opening remarks today, I commended President Trump once again for the outstanding judicial nominations he has made. And I reiterated the Senate's determination once more to continue confirming them regardless of the often mindless partisan obstruction we've been seeing across the aisle. This pointless obstruction is designed simply to waste time, not to change an outcome. And it won't. It didn't stop the Senate from confirming Scott Polk. It will not stop the Senate from confirming Trevor McFadden. And it will not stop the Senate from confirming even more outstanding nominees next week. You can count on it. I have filed cloture on 4 more well-qualified nominees for our nation's circuit courts. Notre Dame law professor Amy Barrett, nominee for the 7th Circuit. Michigan Supreme Court Justice Joan Larson, nominee for the 6th Circuit. Colorado Supreme Court Justice Allison Eade, nominee for the 10th Circuit. University of Pennsylvania law professor Stefanos Bilbas, nominee for the 3rd Circuit. By confirming these nominees, we can take a big step toward restoring our nation's courts to their proper role, interpreting and applying the law based upon what it actually says, not what a judge might wish it to say. It's quite a departure from the last administration's philosophy when it came to selecting judicial nominees. For the last 8 years, we had a president who said a criterion for lifetime positions was the ability to empathize with certain groups over others. It came to be known as the quote-unquote empathy standard. That's a great standard if you're the party in the case whom the judge has empathy for. Not so great if you're the other person. It also was not in keeping with the long-standing American legal traditions of applying the law equally to all, giving every litigant a fair share, and ruling based on the actual meaning of our Constitution and our laws, not what a judge or some preferred political constituency might wish they meant. That, I believe, is the view of the American people. President Trump has done a terrific job of nominating judges who are already helping to restore the courts to their intended function in our system of government. The nominees we will consider next week are sure to do the same. We'll continue our efforts with consideration of the Barrett nomination on Monday. Amy Barrett is a professor of law at one of our nation's premier law schools. Notre Dame happens to be a Catholic university. Amy Barrett happens to be a nominee who is a Catholic and who speaks freely and openly about her faith and its importance to her. For some on the left, that seems to be a disqualifying factor for her nomination. So I would remind colleagues that we do not have religious tests for office in this country. There is no religious test for office in the United States of America. Amy Barrett's nomination has received outstanding reviews. She's clearly well qualified for the office to which she's been nominated. As the president of Notre Dame recently wrote, quote, her experience as a clerk for Judge Lawrence Silberman of the U.S. Court of Appeals and Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia is of the highest order. So too is her scholarship in the areas of federal courts, constitutional law, and statutory interpretation. Amy Barrett is going to make an outstanding federal circuit court judge. So too will Ms. Larson, Ms. Eads, and Mr. Bilbas. I look forward to the Senate confirming all of them next week.